Day of Democracy. On the 16th of September is the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. The 21st of September is the International Day of Peace. The 23rd of September is the International Day of Sign Languages. The 26th of September is the World Maritime Day and the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. On the 27th of September is the World Tourism Day. On the 29th of September is the World Heart Day. Stay tuned to TVC News for this report and analysis.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us on World Now on TVC News. Let's turn our attention to the United States, where schools in several Kentucky counties have been closed as a search for a man suspected of shooting into vehicles along a major highway, injuring 5 people, continued into a third day. Police have named 32-year-old Joseph Couch as a suspect in the shootings that occurred on Saturday evening. Authorities believe the attacker is in a remote, rugged area about 9 miles from the city of London in southeastern Kentucky. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office said they had recovered a silver Honda SUV and an AR rifle they believe was used in the attack, although the suspect may have other firearms. Police also found a phone they believe belongs to Mr. Couch, but the battery had been removed. Today is International Day to protect education from attack. The United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, says it is an important day to remember the devastating impact of war on the bodies, minds, and spirits of young learners. To commemorate this day, experts have called for the safety of children, stating that places of education should be safe havens for children, students, and education personnel. They have also warned that attacks on education can have serious long-term physical and psychological repercussions for students and teachers. Such attacks, according to experts, will suspend teaching and learning, lead to a significant increase in dropout rates, and prevent students from accessing their right to quality education. To discuss more about this day, Program and Partnership Manager, Plan International Nigeria, Comfort Umahi, joins me on World Now. Good to have you join us on World Now. Reflecting on this year's commemoration, how would you say we're faring as a nation in the quest to protect education from attack?
Thank you very much for having me on the program. I'll say that schools in Nigeria have been attacked for more than a decade, and this attack have been in different forms. We have kidnapping, adoption, insurgents, banditry, and then in times of conflict, schools are also used as military base, thereby displacing children. And this is adding to the number of out-of-school children we have in the country. And when these attacks happen, parents are afraid to release their children back to school. Children are also afraid to go back to school. In the past, these attacks were we only hear about these attacks in the Northeast, but attacks on education in Nigeria is now everywhere, from the Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, and all that. And to say that Plan International Nigeria, we have modeled best practices to ensure that there's continuity of education even when schools are being attacked or when during conflict. So we've collaborated with governments, with private sectors, with other development partners to, implement accelerated basic education to ensure that education continues even during crisis. We've also had the teaching at the right level model. We have the catch-up classes, and then the reading hubs. All these are models, are programs that Plan International has initiated in collaboration with the government to ensure that education continues even during these attacks or crises.
I really desire that you would, expatiate on that really, because it it's something we need to know about, such that nobody loses hope, So regardless of the situation, we know that there is still a way to get education. But then how do we go all out to make sure that our education facilities are safe for all, for staff, for students, for teachers, and for all other stakeholders involved?
Yes, so a lot is going on. In collaboration with the government, again, Plan International has worked to ensure that there's a national policy on safety, security, and violence schools. And there's also a minimum standard for safe schools. All these are policies and guidelines that have been put in place to ensure that schools implement, and as they implement these guidelines, they ensure that schools are safe. So we've worked in schools to support schools to develop early warning signs, train children. We have drills, train teachers, and so that they are aware. If there's a red flag, children know what to do, and teachers also know what to do. We worked in collaboration with the government. We have the national response on safe schools. So when there's an attack in schools, yes, so safe school declaration. So when there's an attack, the children know what to do. The teachers know who to call, the number to dial. So people are already trained from the Civil Defense Corps to respond immediately. And Plan International has been in the forefront to ensure that this happens in all the locations where we are working. And just to mention again that Plan International has been doing this for the past 10 years in Nigeria. So this year marks our 10th anniversary, and we have lined up activities which we also want you to be part of, to see how we are working together to ensure that children learn in a safe and safety environment, especially the girl child.
Ms. Umahi, education, they say, is the best legacy, and it couldn't be more true, I guess. Thank you so much for sharing with us on this very important day and this profound topic. Comfort Umahi, Program and Partnership Manager, Plan International Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to the Middle East, where no fewer than 16 persons have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on a number of military sites in central Syria. Reports cited a health official revealing that another 36 persons were wounded in the attacks in the vicinity of Masyaf in the Hama province. We have more in this report.
A UK-based monitoring group has reported that 18 people were killed and that the targets included a scientific research center allegedly linked to chemical weapons production. The Israeli military says it would not comment on reports of the strikes, which Syria's foreign ministry condemned as blatant aggression and Iran's foreign ministry called a criminal attack. However, Israel has previously acknowledged carrying out hundreds of strikes in recent years on targets in Syria that it says are linked to Iran, Israel's main foe and allied armed groups. The Israeli strikes have reportedly been stepped up since the start of the war in Gaza in October last year, in response to cross-border attacks on northern Israel by Hezbollah and other groups in Lebanon and Syria. A Syrian military source revealed that Israeli aircraft flying over northwestern Lebanon launched missiles at a number of military sites in the central region on Sunday. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that Israeli strikes destroyed buildings and military facilities in the scientific research area in Mayaf and other sites. It also said 18 others were killed, including 8 Syrian fighters and 4 civilians. Another news agency also cited 2 regional intelligence sources as saying that a major military research center for chemical arms production was hit several times. According to the agency, Israeli air and artillery strikes have targeted Syrian territory on 64 occasions since the start of the year, resulting in the damage or destruction of about 140 targets, including weapons depot, vehicles, and Iran-backed militia headquarters. The strikes have killed at least 205 fighters, including 50 members of Syrian government forces, 38 members of Hezbollah and 24 Iranian Revolutionary Guards, as well as 24 civilians. Recall that in April, Iran accused Israel of carrying out an airstrike on a consulate building in Damascus, which killed 2 senior guard commanders. Iran retaliated by carrying out its first direct military attack against Israel. It launched 300 missiles and drones, but almost all of them were shot down by Israeli and US-led forces.
As the Russia-Ukraine war continues, Latvia and Romania